Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I wanted to share with you guys a very powerful story about one of the hostages that was recently released from Gaza. Her name is Agam Berger and it's an incredibly powerful story that should inspire us all. She was taken in the middle of the night. She was sleeping in her pajamas and Hamas terrorists went and took her, and she's been in captivity ever since, and just recently she was released. And on her release, when she was returning home, she wrote on a whiteboard a message for everyone who was watching on the news. And this message that she had for the people, for the citizens, was absolutely incredible and something that personally moved me and I believe is inspiring to us all. The message that she wrote on the whiteboard was, "The path of faith I have chosen, and on the path of faith I have returned." So powerful. I repeat it again. The path of faith I have chosen, and on the path of faith I have returned. Agam Berger wasn't particularly religious. She wasn't particularly observant of the Torah, but we're told that throughout her time in Gaza being hostage, she turned to God and she found him and she created a much deeper relationship with the Creator. That throughout her time being hostage, she chose to turn to God and she chose to strengthen her faith in him. And we're told that throughout her time in Gaza, she actually took upon herself to start keeping Shabbat. As Jews, we keep the Sabbath. And she took upon herself to start keeping it when she did not keep it in the past. She took upon herself to fast on Yom Kippur, to fast on the fast that we do as Jews on Tisha B'Av. She took upon herself to start praying every day. In fact, one day, there's a story went out that she wanted a prayer book, a Jewish prayer book, which is called a Siddur. And she asked one of the Hamas terrorists who were keeping her hostage if it was possible for her to have a prayer book. And they obviously were very grotesque and said absolutely not. And a day later, the same terrorists came back in with a Jewish prayer book and said to Agam, "God must really love you, because one of the IDF soldiers must have left a prayer book on the floor here nearby, and it's for you." And that prayer book went to her, and with that she started praying every single day, and it's absolutely incredible. And we're told that she turned to God, she prayed to God, and at the same time her mother, who was suffering knowing her daughter was in captivity, her mother also took upon herself to start keeping Shabbat in Israel at home when she hadn't done it before. In fact, the day for Agam's release was scheduled to be on Shabbat itself, which breaks the rules of Shabbat, right? It would require a Chilul Shabbat, to break the rules of Shabbat in order for her to be released. And the mother actually told everyone to not break Shabbat, that she would minimize how much she would break Shabbat as much as possible, even though her daughter would be released on the Sabbath. And it ended up happening that Agam, the terrorists, for whatever reason, kept Agam for that Shabbat, and they didn't release her on the Sabbath. Instead, they released her next Thursday because she actually didn't want to leave on Shabbat. She wanted to keep the Shabbat, and so she left the next Thursday. And this is an absolutely incredible story, and it's absolutely incredible because when we are in the absolute worst darkness and pain and suffering, we have two choices. We can either turn to God or we turn away from God. The more we turn away, the more darkness we seep into. But the more we turn to God, the more we actualize the purpose of the darkness that we find ourselves in. You see, at the end of the day, no one can do anything to us without God allowing it to happen. The pain that we feel in our lives is a calling from God for us to turn back to Him and to create a greater relationship with our Creator. God wants a relationship with us, and if we don't do it by our own means, then God will put us in certain circumstances to start turning to Him. And Agam, she took this wake-up call. She started forming a much deeper, greater relationship with the source of all life, and she was freed, thank God. I pray that we see all the hostages free, and I pray that we all follow in the footsteps of Agam, where no matter the darkness we may find ourselves in, may we choose the path of faith. And I'll repeat the words that she said: "I have chosen the path of faith, and I have returned on the path of faith." I pray that all of these hostages may find peace and may they recover from all the trauma they have endured. And I pray that they all find God in their lives. No matter the darkness that you're in, know that when you turn to God, there's a light that will come inside of you that can heal you of any pain and any suffering that you've been through. God wants a relationship with you, and even in the darkest places, He wants you. So may we all take a lesson out of Agam's book and turn to God turn to God, choose the path of faith, return on the path of faith, return to God. God wants all of us to return to him. World events are all happening because God is calling to humanity and telling us, I want you to know me, I want you to come back to me, and God will do what it takes. So with our own free will, we must choose to turn back to our Creator and learn from this beautiful girl. Return to God. That's what he wants from us. So yeah, choose the path of faith, return the path of faith, just like Agam Berger did.